Hi, this is Trevor, and it is Saturday, July the 26th. Welcome back for our weekly tarot card challenge. We've been working through the Rider-Waite tarot deck, and you'll see the videos for the cards we've covered already, and I've set those cards aside. You'll see those videos here on my YouTube page. You're looking at me on YouTube, so they'll be kind of associated there. But you can also find them on my webpage, and my webpage is at trevorsense.com, and I always include that also in the information below the video. And that's also where you'll find information about me and about my work and how to book an appointment with me, whether that's in person, and presently that's at Elemental Book and Curiosity Shop here in Winnipeg, or I have the additional feature now of readings over Skype. And some other things that have been in development as well, like some restaurant readings that I've been doing, which has been a lot of fun to return to. All kinds of evolution that's going on. So again, you'll find that information there at trevorsense.com. So I'm shuffling the cards, and I always like to cut them. And let's see what we have. The Moon card. And that's fitting, come to think of it, because today, as I mentioned, is July the 26th, and it's a new moon. And that has a lot of different associations for people. But for some people, the new moon is kind of a great time to be shedding some old patterns, to be kind of opening up to new energy and possibilities. So how fitting that that's kind of coincidentally going on. Now, the Moon card is one of the major arcana cards in tarot. And tarot is, I often refer to it as a symbolic language, and we have the cards of the minor arcana that tend to talk more about the circumstances that are going on, what's happening in our job, what's happening in our relationships, etc. And that also includes the court cards, which we've touched on to a degree as well. But the major arcana cards, they can oftentimes appear a lot more dramatic, and oftentimes in Hollywood movies and things like that, the death card or the devil or some of the more beautiful cards like the lovers will seem to indicate things. But I tend to see the major arcana cards not so much as the circumstances themselves, but as more the lessons and the experiences that are moving through those circumstances. And they have a lot to do with understanding realms of how we are working and how we are growing. And they're powerful tools for meditation in terms of focusing and working on them. Even the cards that are scary in their appearance are actually an opportunity to learn about aspects of kind of our inner self and our consciousness and how that's working. So when we look at the major arcana, it's a good idea to look at that sequence. You know, they're numbered for a reason. And in many traditions, you are actually kind of working through a process as you were working through the major arcana. If you were kind of studying in an esoteric realm of study, there are the traditions that have to do with each of those key points. And the Moon card is part of that sequence where there's a relationship to the other cards around it. There always is, kind of a cause and effect. It's Roman numeral 18. And just before it is the Star card, Roman numeral 17, and following it is the Sun card. So sun, moon, stars, all about planets, all about things in the heavens, but all kind of relating to kind of like different wavelengths of our consciousness. And again, these are just some random thoughts around this. But when we look at the card itself, it's got some interesting elements. We notice at the bottom of the card, there's the little crayfish raising up out of the water. There's some rocks and plants, and then there's this winding path. Kind of looks a little challenging, a little treacherous. And there's a baying wolf, and then there's the dog howling at the moon. And then there's these two towers. And you'll notice those towers come up again at another point in the major arcana. I'll let you find them. I won't tell you where they are. I'll let you go hunting. But you see that there's a relationship. There's a reason for these things kind of coming up together. So if the Star card is kind of like a flash of insight, the higher consciousness giving us a vision, and the Sun card, which comes after the moon, is about everything being out in the light of day, the Moon card is the powerful force of our unconscious and our instincts. Just as we have kind of, you could almost see it as evolution, if you wanted to look at it that way, like our most primal instincts going back like that crayfish raising up out of the depths. We have the vegetable and mineral elements, and then we have the animal elements moving towards the domesticated dog. So it's almost like what's been with us in our collective consciousness going way, way back. An author I enjoy, Joseph Campbell, who wrote a great deal about myth and mythology, in one of his earlier books talks a lot about our primal consciousness, how we still have embedded in us certain fight or flight responses that go back in terms of our survival. So the moon card is about those powerful instincts, but again, it's got that feeling of being very challenging. It is oftentimes our more irrational energies. It can sometimes represent a bit of craziness that's going on in a situation. But even that craziness has some foundation in our instincts. So this is a card, that is about what may be influenced by our unconscious. And in intuitive work, I think it ties in a lot to owning our own stuff. When we pick up things about other people, we have to sometimes say, okay, where are my own biases? Where are my own unconscious feelings, my own kind of reactions? And as a reader, you move through a lot of experiences in terms of learning to own that. But the moon card itself, when it's present in a reading, when it's coming up for a person, could be talking about some powerful forces that are not necessarily easy or manageable that we're having to look at, where we might have to kind of look at some of our fears and some of our instinctive responses and what may be going on an unconscious level to influence that. It often suggests that everything is not being seen in the clear light of day, but is being influenced by those things. Just as the sun is the source of light, the moon is reflected light. So, just like a little kid waking up in the middle of the night, seeing a chair in the corner, but maybe mom or dad read The Three Bears before they went to sleep. Is that a bear? It's our perceptions being influenced by those unconscious things. So it's an important exercise and an opportunity to be learning more about that. The moon can be very creative in terms of its energy. It's challenging, but it's an opportunity to be kind of exploring and to be kind of seeing where those things are coming from. And again, we have to pay attention to the other cards that come up around it. So they're just some random thoughts on the moon card, and I hope everybody has a great new moon experience. Here's a suggestion. Pay attention in the week ahead to where you may see those influences that relate to the card, where you may be kind of finding yourself experiencing hunches and nudges, and is that part of your more intuitive awareness, or is it your instincts trying to get your attention? Fascinating stuff. It's been a joy sharing with you as always, and we'll look forward to sharing more with you next week. Tune in again. Bye for now.